Hey guys, sorry, I'm still getting over the cold that I was just getting when I did the Savage review video. Okay, it's the last video. Anyways, so this is gonna be talking about, well, for first of all, this 475 is what I paid for it before taxes, and the background check fee in Colorado and everything like that. Uh, so this is a 475 gun with a $475 gun with a polymer lower receiver, and it's made by American Tactical Imports. This is a great budget rifle. All right, more on that later. But this is gonna be a review and also a setup video. I think I can stuff both of those into one video if I kind of stay on task, and also a philosophy video. So hopefully I can fit all that into one video. If not, then we won't. Anyways, so my last video I'd put about 100 or 150 rounds if I'd put anything through it. So I didn't have a whole lot of experience with the rifle. Basically, I knew that when I touched this thing, it went bang. Also, safety check. Okay, rifle's empty. There's no magazine in there. Sorry. Anyways, so basically what I knew was when I touched this thing and pull on it, the thing goes bang if there's a bullet in there. So I've actually sat down, settled the rifle down, squeezed the trigger, and this thing is like sub MOA. I don't have the target here, but this thing shoots about, the tightest group I was able to get was about 75.75 out of an inch. Typical groups were like 1 to 1.25 standing at 100 yards. So, if you put this thing in a bench rest, shoot good ammo out of it, it's probably, a 3/4 MOA gun consistently. Actually, it's a pure test of the action and the barrel and everything. So, if that was shooting just, whatever 55 grain happened to be cheap at the local gun store. So probably Federal. But possibly Tula, I don't know. Some sort of, cheap ammo. That's all that's been shot out of this. This hasn't had a single round of, like, match-grade ammo through it or anything like that. It's all been pretty much just cheap, Federal or surplus ammo or Tula or whatever. And I've had 2 stoppages with this in, the 1,100 rounds now that I've put through it, roughly. And they were both with Tula, both in very cold conditions in the last couple weeks. Shooting at night, was when both of those stoppages occurred, when it was like sub 10 degrees. So, something to be aware of if you're going to be shooting in the cold a lot. Maybe you're coyote hunting in the cold, or you're in a state where you can hunt like deer or boar or whatever with a 223. Some people do it. That's something to be aware of. If you're operating in the cold, don't run Tula. I've shot, Federal and stuff like that in the cold and never had an issue. Additionally, this gun has been lubricated twice and was given a brief, 5-minute cleaning when I first got it. And that's all the maintenance this thing has received or required. The barrel's never been cleaned. Basically what happened was, the barrel was clean when I first got it. I just ran a wire thing through it. One of those wire brushes on the cleaning rod. Ran that through it. Rubbed the bolt carrier group down with solvent, and then sprayed it with CLP, and sprayed the trigger components and everything with CLP, and that was it. Then at about 600 or 700 rounds, I started thinking, wow, this is fucking ridiculous. Why hasn't this thing jammed yet? And lubricated it some more, just sprayed everything down with some CLP. That's it. That is literally the extent of the maintenance this thing has gone through. It's had 2 stoppages that were both in adverse conditions with bad ammo. I think that speaks to the rifle. Like I said, I have shot sub-minute groups, but I think that was largely a fluke. I think this is roughly like a minute of an angle rifle in, all practicality. If you settle it down, have a clear sight picture, you know, you have a steady target that you can shoot at, and you're decently good with a rifle. This is about a minute of an angle rifle. Okay. And that's in my experience. I'm sure, you know, somebody could find an American tactical rifle that didn't fucking work and, you know, was a piece of garbage and everything like that. Yeah, I'm sure you could. It's also a $400 gun, dude. You know, this came $475 with a 13-inch key mod rail and, you know, they're proprietary, you know, similar to a CTR but not done as well, stock, and a 30-round ATI magazine, which they should not have given me because I live in Colorado, but I just got rid of that one. Anyways, sorry, my voice keeps cracking. I'm still sick. You know, one thing about this is shooting steel. This thing gets fucking hot fast. It gets hot in a hurry. You know, the paint is starting to kind of change color a little bit on the barrel and stuff. The paint is, for the most part, actually melted off of the gas tube. So, you know, that's kind of my proof that I've shot a lot. You know, I've put several hundreds of rounds through it in a night. And, you know, the muzzle brake and the barrel were pretty hot. But I've yet to have a single stoppage with brass. And about probably 600 or 700 rounds of what I've put through this was brass, and then the rest was steel. This thing, one thing about it, it does shoot 62 grain a little bit better than 55 grain, and pretty much all the groups I shot with it were 55 grain, and I used the 62 grain for killing coyotes. This thing is a fucking coyote getter. I got 2 coyotes in a week with it, you know, which is pretty good for, you know, I don't have a call or anything like that, so, you know, but pretty much every coyote I shot at, I hit with this. So this thing's a coyote getter for sure, if that's what you want it for. You know, small game, or maybe you can hunt deer and you want to use an AR. But I would say go with something larger if you're killing anything bigger than a coyote with this. Anyways, except for people, because it's okay for them to suffer because they're trying to break into your house and shit. Anyways, so what I have on this rifle, you know, I already had a free-floated rail out of the box. I'll talk about that later if I have time. If not, it'll just be a different video. The stock on here sucked. It was terrible. It was like one of those poorly done, you know, trying to be Magpul stocks. You know, it was a similar mechanism to the CTR, just not done as well. Very heavy, bad recoil pad. Not a big fan of it. Replaced it with a CTR that I had on my old AR. As you can see, this paint is wearing off and showing the multicam paint that's underneath, because I couldn't get that to come off because it's like 30 coats of paint. So, then the Magpul SL grip is my pistol grip of choice because I have baby hands. I am 5 feet 7 inches tall, so I have baby hands, and I can really get a good grip on this and manage the recoil really well. Moving up, I have a Vortex Spark. The reason I went with a Vortex over some of the other options around the, you know, $200 price range, I didn't go with the Holosun because I couldn't find one that I could buy, and honestly, I was just impatient and wanted something physical I could hold and, like, you know, take it home that night. Should have probably, you know, realistically, it would have been a better option to go with Holosun, but this has served me very well. I originally had a Bushnell TRS-25 on here. That sucked. It came loose off the riser, so I was tightening it down, got it hand tight, and the screw literally snapped. So, you know, I am stronger than average, but I'm not, like, ridiculously strong, and a screw on a firearm should be more durable than that. So, took that in, got cash back for it. Bass Pro Shops has pretty good customer service, or I think I got it at Cabela's. Yeah, I got it at Cabela's. So, you know, shout out to their their customer service there. I was able to get cash back with it because I had it and everything like that. I actually just brought it in with a receipt, didn't have the original packaging, you know, and I was able to get cash back. So this is about a $200 optic. The great thing, the things I like about it are it's already set up for an AR. That's also a minus because if you're running a different weapons platform or if you have a low cheek weld, it might not be the best thing for you. But for me, it's actually pretty much like the ideal height um, for shooting off of an AR. It does have a pretty wide field of view. I wish that they would have done these cuts differently because although it's like it probably will add up to like half an ounce. This is extra weight and extra shit that can get snagged, but it's also nice because since it's a ramp, it's a little bit less likely to get snagged. So there's kind of some plus and minus to that. I also like that it runs off of AAA. I like the battery switches back here because it doesn't take up any more profile up here. This thing it can go very bright or very dim. One thing about it might not be the best for you if you're using night vision because on the night vision settings, the bottom two settings, they're drastically lower than the daytime settings, even the low daytime settings, but they're still visible to the naked eye. And I use them for a lot of like if I'm 50 or 100 yards out or whatever and I'm shooting at a target in the dark, it makes the dot really nice and small, but I can still see it with the naked eye, which might make it a little bit too much light for night vision goggles or whatever. Overall, I'd recommend this for like basically any realistic use. It has a 500-hour battery life on its highest setting, I think, and then like a 1,000-hour battery life on its lowest setting. It does have a 12-hour auto off, which is good and bad. Usually what I'll do is right before I go to bed, I'll just turn it on. And that way, by the time I wake up and like go to school, it's on the entire time I'm there. But by the time it's off, I'm already at school or doing something else or whatever. So that's good and bad. I don't really like on and off or auto off features, but hey, what can you do? I have a mission first tactical sling point on the bottom so that it's ambidextrous. I can still use it and everything. Just whacked myself in the nose there, but whatever. And I have, of course, all my loops electrical taped and everything like that, so there's nothing loose. This is basically just one strap of varying size. I also have some electrical tape there. That's just for basic repairs or anything like, you need electrical tape sometimes. And it's nice to have it on your rifle because if you're fighting, your rifle should always be with you. Okay. Then a Magpul M-Lock MVG on here. So I like this because for one, my rifle isn't only shot by me. It's shot by a couple other people. If I have a buddy over and we're shooting or whatever, he might end up using my rifle or, whatever. So different, gripping styles. It's more usable for that than like an AFG would be. It also works really well as a hand stop. This groove here holds your hand really well. Sorry. You use it as an angled grip, and I like it because basically however you grip it, you can pull the rifle into yourself, and it's set up so that it's a really simple reach back to go turn the constant on, but I'm not going to accidentally hit it, but the momentary on is right there so that I can manipulate the light easily because I'm not going to be doing anything that's like where I'm really in hiding or whatever at nighttime where, if I set my light off, it's going to like compromise me or whatever. So it's better for me to have that right in the way so that, if I'm in a home defense situation or just shooting, it's still comfortable and it doesn't affect my using the rifle to turn it on. And this is a Streamlight ProTac Rail Mount 1. I got this because it's not as bright as the Rail Mount 2, so I won't blind myself in my building. And also it's a bit of a weight savings because I want to be able to manipulate this thing really well. Granted, weight isn't as important for like a home defense rifle, but it's still something I like to keep to a minimum, just so I can move the gun around really well, or if somebody else is using it that isn't as strong as I am, or, they have some sort of disability, or if you get shot, it's better, it's easier to move a light weapon around while you're shot than it is to move a fucking 10-pound brick, right? And so this has momentary, and it also has a strobe, and I can actually have the constant on be a strobe. As you can see, I'm hands-free with it, so it's really handy. It's good for a lot of different purposes. If you have a light on your rifle, go somewhere and shoot at night if you can. If not, just go to the range or whatever, whatever tools you have available to you. But get used to manipulating your light, even if take the battery out if you're shooting during the day, and just get used to clicking the switch. If your range allows it, operate the light, because it's actually a mental thing. Noticing the light and making sure that you are sufficiently pushing down on it, so you aren't just applying a little bit of pressure and saying, oh well, if I had a battery in it, it would turn on. This way you actually know. And then the flashlight is riding on a Magpul mount. It's directly mounted on there because the Streamlight takes Scout Light mounts. So it's directly mounted on there, which saves weight and profile. And the Surefire Pro Comp, I have mixed feelings about that. I'll talk sorry. I'll talk about that in a different video, but it actually shoots the blast straight out to the side, so this really doesn't get too much heat. If I were doing if I were doing over in Afghanistan, I would have mine mounted differently. But since I'm probably not going to be doing magdump after magdump, this isn't going to get too hot to where it's going to start interfering with the